The screen fades in, a wave crashes, a shoreline breathes with life. Then, silence. The camera pulls back. The oceans, our planet's beating heart, begin to churn, bubble, and vanish into the sky. Steam rises in colossal clouds. Fish scatter in boiling chaos. The horizon itself dissolves into white vapor. Imagine, for one moment, that Earth's oceans began to boil away. What would happen to life? What would happen to the planet? And, perhaps most hauntingly, what would happen to us? Water. It covers more than 70% of our world. It defines our climate. It drives our weather. It sustains every living being we know. Without it, Earth is not Earth. It becomes something alien, something hostile, something we may not survive. But let's push this thought experiment further. Let's imagine not a slow drying, not an ancient drought, but an event so cataclysmic, so complete, that every ocean begins to boil away. The Pacific, the Atlantic, the Indian, all transformed into rising towers of steam. This is not simply a question of water loss, it is a question of survival. For when the oceans vanish, the delicate balance of life is broken. So, what could cause such a nightmare? One possibility: the sun. Stars like ours do not stay the same forever. Over time, their heat increases. In about 1 billion years, scientists predict that Earth will experience a moist greenhouse effect. The oceans will evaporate slowly at first, then catastrophically, until nothing remains but steam. But in our scenario, imagine it happens suddenly. Imagine a dramatic shift, solar radiation surging beyond anything Earth has endured. Or perhaps a runaway greenhouse effect driven by human-triggered climate extremes. A mirror image of what we fear on Venus. And when oceans boil, they do not simply disappear. They transform. Billions of tons of water rising into the atmosphere, clouds of unimaginable size, storms without precedent, a sky so thick with vapor that sunlight itself can barely penetrate. Earth would be remade in days. As the oceans boiled, the first consequence would be the air itself. Right now, our atmosphere is breathable because of balanced oxygen, nitrogen, carbon dioxide. But suddenly, vast amounts of water vapor surge upward. The atmosphere thickens. It becomes heavy, humid, suffocating. Every breath feels like drowning. The sky darkens into a permanent haze. The sun's rays, trapped, push temperatures even higher. And the oceans, once cool regulators of climate, are gone. No tides, no stabilizing currents, no life-giving cycle of evaporation and rain. Instead, the Earth transforms into a steam world. The collapse would be instant. Marine life, gone in hours. Fish, whales, corals, plankton boiled alive. Entire ecosystems erased in a single day. Birds that feed on the sea starve. Mammals that rely on coastal waters perish. The food web collapses. And humanity. Cities fall silent. Coastal communities vanish. Agriculture fails as rainfall patterns collapse into chaos. Crops cannot grow in blistering humid heat. Freshwater vanishes. Our civilization, built on the steady rhythm of oceans, would begin to starve. In many ways, this new Earth would resemble one of our neighbors, Venus. Billions of years ago, Venus may have had oceans, but runaway greenhouse heating stripped them away. What was left? A world cloaked in toxic clouds. Temperatures high enough to melt lead. Winds faster than hurricanes. Now imagine Earth rushing down the same path. Our blue planet turning yellow-gray. The ocean basins dry and cracked. The surface baking beneath a permanent shroud of vapor. This is not Earth as we know it. This is a furnace. Let's walk through this transformation step by step. Day 1. The oceans boil. Steam blankets the skies. Temperatures surge. Coastal life is obliterated. Week 1. Rain falls, but not gentle rain. Torrents of boiling condensation pound the earth. Floods surge inland, but quickly evaporate again. Crops drown, then wither. Humanity begins to panic. Month 1. The oceans are no longer visible. They exist only as thick clouds overhead. Rivers run dry, lakes shrink. Cities ration their final reserves of fresh water. Year 1. The greenhouse spiral completes itself. With oceans gone, carbon dioxide locked in the seabed is released into the atmosphere. Global temperatures rise to unbearable extremes. Animals collapse, forests ignite, and the human population dwindles, each day a fight for survival. Picture this: the Pacific Ocean basin, once deep, dark, mysterious. Now, a vast desert. Its floor cracks like old clay. Mountain ranges that once hid beneath the waves now stand exposed. Fossilized coral reefs crumble in the dry wind. The sound of waves, gone forever. The heartbeat of the planet, silenced. The Earth has become something unrecognizable. But the true danger is only beginning. For when the oceans vanish, the atmosphere is not simply humid, it is unstable, chaotic, explosive. And what happens next may determine whether Earth remains habitable at all. The screen fades to black. The narrator's voice softens, but remains urgent. In a world where the oceans boiled away, the skies themselves would turn against us, storms beyond imagination, lightning without end. A cycle of destruction unlike anything Earth has ever known. But what would this storm world truly look like? And could anything survive in its fury? The Earth is shrouded in steam. Lightning dances across a sky black with vapor. The sound of rain is constant, deafening. Yet this rain does not nourish. It sears. It destroys. This is no longer the blue planet. This is a world of storms. And the storms are only beginning as the oceans boiled away. The atmosphere became a weapon. Water vapor is a greenhouse gas. The more vapor in the air, the more heat is trapped. The more heat is trapped, the more vapor is created. It is a feedback loop without escape. The Earth's surface becomes a pressure cooker. Temperatures surge past the limits of human survival. 50 degrees Celsius, 60, 70. The very air burns the lungs. The once thin blanket of atmosphere thickens, growing dense with steam. The sky glows with a perpetual red haze as sunlight is filtered through endless clouds. And then the storms arrive. Hurricanes, once bound to the oceans, now sweep across the planet fueled by the sheer heat of the ground itself. Winds roar at speeds never before imagined. Lightning crackles through vapor, thick skies. Every storm carries the power of 1,000 nuclear detonations. And without oceans to absorb and dissipate energy, there is nothing to stop them. They rage endlessly. For survivors, if any still exist, there is no shelter. Cities are torn apart. Forests are stripped bare. Mountains echo with thunder. It is an atmosphere out of balance, tearing the planet apart. We have seen this before. Not here, but on Venus. Billions of years ago, Venus may have looked like Earth. Oceans shimmered under a younger sun, but then, runaway heating. Today, Venus is a world of 900-degree heat, a thick atmosphere of carbon dioxide and sulfuric acid clouds. Earth, in our scenario, is racing toward the same fate. The boiling oceans accelerate this transformation, pulling us closer to becoming Venus' twin, a dead, storm-racked furnace. Now imagine what it would mean for us. Day 100. The last freshwater reservoirs run dry. Humans retreat underground into caves, mines, bunkers, anywhere the heat is less intense. Year 5. Civilization collapses. Nations no longer exist. Communication fails. Electricity grids vanish. The great cities of Earth stand as empty shells, scorched monuments to a world that once thrived. Year 50. Only isolated survivors remain. They live like shadows, scavenging what little remains of stored resources. They cannot grow food. They cannot rebuild. For the land is sterile, the rains are poison, and the oceans, the cradle of life, are gone. But the changes go deeper. Without oceans pressing down, the Earth's crust begins to shift. Subduction slows, plate tectonics weaken. The recycling of carbon, essential for planetary balance, ceases. Volcanoes erupt with newfound ferocity, filling the air with ash that mixes with steam to create storms of fire and lightning. Earthquakes ripple through the dry basins of former seas. Land that once lay beneath kilometers of water is exposed, brittle, unstable. The very geology of the planet changes. Close your eyes and imagine walking across this Earth. Where the Atlantic Ocean once stretched, there is now only desert, an endless, cracked plain, its surface shimmering in unbearable heat. Where the Pacific once roared, jagged ridges cut the horizon. Coral reefs stand exposed, bleached and lifeless, their once vibrant colors reduced to dust. The air is thick, wet, and suffocating. The sun burns dim through a haze of steam. The world is silent, except for the unending roar of storms. This is Earth, but it is no longer alive. And then, inevitably, the steam itself escapes. Water molecules rise higher and higher into the atmosphere, broken apart by solar radiation. Hydrogen escapes into space. Oxygen bonds with the planet's surface, rusting it red. Slowly, steadily, Earth loses its water forever. The oceans do not return. The cycle is broken. Earth becomes a dry, barren wasteland. A desert planet stripped of its greatest gift. Life, once abundant, once unstoppable, disappears. All of this from one simple change: the loss of water. It shows us something profound, how fragile Earth truly is. Our oceans are not guaranteed. They are a delicate balance of temperature, atmosphere, and distance from the sun. Change any one of those, and our blue planet becomes unrecognizable. The oceans are not just water. They are time. They are memory. They are survival. Without them, we are nothing. As the final vapor escapes into the void, Earth drifts silently through space. No oceans, no rivers, no rain. Only a barren crust beneath a relentless sun. And somewhere, perhaps on a distant world, intelligent eyes look toward this planet, the one that once shone blue, and ask, what happened here?